Tell me about the hinge. I see that in the back there, and I know you've written a couple things about the hinge, specifically for, I think, football. What is your athletic background, and how did you come to find this career?
So my athletic background was, I mean, I played baseball and soccer. That's what I always enjoyed. I didn't really start playing golf until college. And when I got to college, though, I was a little D2 school in West Virginia, and I discovered this thing called partying, probably my senior year, junior year, sophomore year in high school. And if it was a class, I mean, I would have got an A+ in that. So when I got to college, though, I was like, man, I got partying and baseball and no responsibility. Like, what could possibly go wrong? So when I got to college, partying, I actually, I always tell my groups that too, especially the younger ones, like, nothing good happens after midnight. And this was after midnight. For some reason, we're partying near this bridge in West Virginia. And near this bridge was this cliff. And I ended up walking off an 80-foot cliff. I didn't jump. I wasn't pushed. I just absolutely had no idea where I was. And, baseball from that point then was completely over. But if it wasn't for that hinge moment, like, I wouldn't have taken that psychology class, and I wouldn't have, when I took that first psychology class, it was like a tattoo in my heart. I was like, this is what I want to do. So I knew I always wanted to do something with sports, but when I knew about that, I was like, man, that mental game, because I was always the type of athlete that always thought too much. I could never get outside my own head, and nobody could ever help me out with that. No one could ever say, the only thing they ever said was, well, once you get going in the game, it'll leave. It never left me. I was always stuck inside my own head. I was behind enemy lines. And that's how I got into that field. And that was the premise of the hinge is, look, I don't care how bad things are in our life. How bleak an outcome is. It takes one shot to turn everything around, one person that we're going to meet or one opportunity to make all the difference in our lives. That's what we're getting ready for, and that's the real importance of mental toughness.
And that has been something that has been studied and looked at, the science of the mental toughness, especially when it comes to golf. There is a big moment where you look at a golfer and their emotions and their control and their visualization, and all athletes really, is long studied. Do you find that part of this, the science of the emotional and the mental game, very exciting? And do you find that it's really what brought you to this study to begin with?
What can be applied in sports can be applied in life, and then vice versa, right? Like, what we learn in life can be applied to sports. I mean, I'm obsessive when it comes to this stuff. I mean, it's what I think about first thing in the morning when I go for my run, and it's what I think about after I tuck my kids into bed, man, is, how do we get better, and what are the areas in our life we have to get better at? I think we think of mental toughness, like, the stigma around it is, well, it's just flipping big tires, like it's some physical exertion, which, that's part of it, but there's not a lot of physical exertion when it comes to golf here. And then the other part is that I think the wrong part about mental toughness is, like, I've got to do it on my own. And that's where I think it's the complete opposite. I think when we allow ourselves to be coachable, that's a big step towards our mental toughness. Like, I always say, I want my athletes to be a little bit stubborn. Like, we got to be stubborn, but we got to be coachable at the same time. Then I think that's how we grow and get better.